Hey guys, today welcome to another video. Now today guys, we are going to be doing another PC build guide, and we haven't done one of these for a very long time, and I'm really sorry because you guys really seem to love these videos. The last one I did got over 1,000 views, which is a lot compared to all the other videos I put out that don't get that many views, not even close to that many views. So yeah, we're going to be doing another PC build guide, and it's all going to be based around the new top of the line mid-tier graphics card, which is the RX 480, which is going to be released this month, which is just going to be fantastic to see the amazing performance that we'll be able to see out of a $200 video card. But yeah, so the price for this build is $700 ish. It might drop, it might go up, it all depends on what you choose for your parts. But without further ado, let's hop right into the build. Now, starting off with the CPU, I went with the Intel Core i5-6500. Now, this is arguably the best mid-range CPU that you can get if you don't plan on overclocking. This is a Skylake CPU, and yeah, you're gonna have the next generation of CPUs. I don't actually know the name of the architecture of the next generation of CPUs that will be coming out. Yeah, you're gonna have them coming out real soon, possibly, maybe. There's rumors of it being announced in the next couple of weeks or whatever. So maybe you wanna wait. Maybe you really wanna wait. But I can tell you that you're not going to be experiencing anything more than 5 to possibly 10% increase in power if we're lucky. That is, if we're lucky, we get 10% increase in power. But at the same time, this is a great CPU, and if you plan on doing YouTube gaming, anything like that, then this is definitely a powerful enough CPU to do anything like that. Maybe you might want to think about getting something more powerful if you plan on doing a shit ton of streaming, because streaming is hard on CPUs that don't have a lot of cores, because this is only a quad-core CPU, which is, yeah, okay, it's plenty for a gaming and rendering videos or anything like that, but maybe it's a little bit not, it's probably not as beefy as you might want to be for heavy streaming. I'm talking about streaming like 5, 6, 7 hours a day, every other day basically. I'm talking about like heavy streaming. Yeah, you can do some streaming on it, but I'm not talking about light streaming like you would expect for someone that would get a build like this. So yeah, this comes in at only $197.99. It's clocked in at 3.2 gigahertz, and again, it's a quad-core CPU. Very power efficient, which is great for all you guys that want to be power efficient with your build and just want to have a build that doesn't take a lot of power. And yeah, it also helps with the heat, that it's not it doesn't require a lot of power, and it really helps with the heat of the CPU. So yeah, and because you're not overclocking, you're just going to use the stock fan that it comes with. Next up, with the motherboard. So for the motherboard, I went with a Gigabit GA-H110M. It's a micro ATX motherboard, and it's rocking the LGA 1151 socket for your CPU, which will fit perfectly. Now, yeah, this is not a crazy motherboard. It's got some basic features. You know, it supports up to 32 gigabytes of DDR4 memory. It has 4 SATA 6 device plug-in spots, and it's got a front panel USB 3.0 feature. But that's really average nowadays. Basically every motherboard has that. But you can't really expect anything crazy out of a motherboard that's only costing you $49.99, which is a fantastic deal for this motherboard. Next up, for the RAM, I went with PNY Anarchy 8 gigabytes, 2 4 gigabyte sticks. This is DDR4 memory, and it's running at 240 megahertz. And yeah, this is just a great DIMM memory. It's a great piece of memory. It's got heat spread. And honestly, there's not really much to say about it. It's fast RAM, you can't really say anything else about it. And this comes in at $27.99. Great price. Prices of RAM have been really falling over the last couple of months. And honestly, this is less than a lot of DDR3 memory kits that are still being sold. So yeah, I just bought another kit of DDR3 memory, and it's an 8 gigabyte stick. I'm not sure what the exact brand was. I'm pretty sure it was from Kosar, but I'm not sure if they even sell RAM, so I'm pretty sure I'm wrong about that. So yeah, and it cost me 31 bucks. So you know, that's a little bit of savings there, and it's a great deal to get this 2 gigabyte kit of RAM for only $27.99. So next up for storage. So for storage, I went with an SSD, which is weird to say in an $800 build, even still, because SSD prices have just been falling like crazy lately, and now you can really fit it into anything, honestly. Anything above $600, you can really fit an SSD in there, if you really want to, obviously. Now, I'm not a huge advocate for SSDs, but yeah, they have their place. I can see that on a boot up drive, yeah, maybe you want to have an SSD, that might be a great option for you, but I don't see it crazy price. The prices of them just aren't good enough for me. When they get to the point where the prices are barely more than the spinning hard drives, then yeah, I can see that, yeah, you want to go for an SSD, but right now, still, I'm not really a huge advocate of them, just because I like having a crap ton of mass storage, and so I'd rather get 2 terabytes rather than getting a 240 gigabyte SSD. You know, that's just my opinion. So for the SSD, I went with the OCZ Tridon 150 240 gigabyte 2.5 inch solid state drive. Now, yes, this is not going to be the fastest SSD on the market, but of course it's only coming in at $59.99, and it also has a $10 mail rebate. If you want to use that, that drops the price down to $49.99. So yeah, that's a great deal if you want to go after that deal, and it's definitely something to look at. So yeah, it's only coming in at $60, and it's definitely worth it. I don't really like going under 240 gigabytes when it comes to SSD, simply because I fill that space up really quickly, especially if it's your C drive. I personally fill that up really quickly, especially with games that you can't install on any other drive. Not games, but just software in general that you can't install on any other storage device. So that's really annoying when you can't change the location of the device and it has to be on your C drive, and you just don't have enough space because you have a 128 gigabyte SSD, and you know, Windows takes up 50-60 gigabytes of that, so you run into a lot of problems when you only have 120 gigabytes of SSD. And I can tell you from personal experience, especially with laptops and all, where they have a ton of bloatware. But of course, you're not going to get any bloatware with this. So for mass storage, I went with the Seagate Barracuda 2 terabyte 3.5 inch internal hard drive. It's running at 7,200 RPM, and it costs exactly $60. Now, this is a great hard drive. This is where you're going to be putting all your games, your movies, your music, all that kind of stuff. I don't really save music or movies to my actual hard drive, because that's kind of weird, because you stream everything nowadays. But if you want to do that, then 2 terabytes is a ton of space, especially if you do YouTube and you want to save all your videos. And I know a lot of people that do Let's Plays online, and you have got 10 hours, 12 hours worth of footage on a hard drive at one time. This is definitely something that will be able to cover all your bases when it comes to that. And I'm thinking about picking up one of these myself for only $60. It's definitely worth looking at it, because it's 2 terabytes worth of storage. When it comes to Western Digital, you're getting that 1 terabyte hard drive for $50. So $10 more for 2 terabytes is definitely worth it, in my opinion. So next up for the power supply. So for the power supply, I went with the Cooler Master 550 watt 80 plus bronze certified single module ATX power supply. Now, this power supply is ATX and 80 plus bronze certified, so yeah, this is a great option for power efficiency when it comes to your PC. Now, it's semi-module, so it's going to be great for power for cable management. And we chose a case that's really well cable managed, especially for a micro ATX MIDI tower case. But yeah, so this power supply is going to power everything super easy, especially when you've got some of the most power efficient hardware that you can get nowadays, with Intel Core i5-6500 being super power efficient, and with the video card that we're going to be going over in just a second. So yeah, a great power supply coming in at $74.99, and it's got a $25 mail-in rebate that drops down to $49.99, and definitely I totally take it up on that offer for $25. That's definitely something I would look at doing. So next up with the case, I went a Fractal Design Core 1500 Micro ATX Mini Tower Case. It comes in at $59.99. It's got a sleek black design. You know, it's not really flashy, but it's got some nice plastic feet, which are great if you've got it on carpet, which is something that a lot of people do, where you got fans sucking from the carpet and it's just not getting enough air in there, or you're blowing into the carpet. Either way, it's not exactly the best option to have that vent basically covered with that carpet, and it's a great option because of these feet. It's going to be off the ground just a tad, and that can really make a huge difference in airflow, especially with this being a mini tower case. That's really important to get as much airflow as possible with such a small case. So yeah, it's also got great cable management. It's got fantastic cable management, tons of holes behind the motherboard to cable manage everything, and it's gonna go well because our power supply is really easy to cable manage for. Also, this case also has two USB 3.0s in the front, which is great. It's got a hard drive button, so it's got tons and tons of features, and luckily you can remove the back plate, so it's easy to customize, and the I/O ports are all built into the actual case, not into the front panel, which is fantastic because you don't have to worry about breaking that by taking off the front panel. The front panel has this nice brushed metal design on it, but it's actually a plastic front panel, which is fantastic because you get that nice, I would say, polished, professional appeal style, while not having to deal with all the fingerprints and all the negatives that come with actual brushed metal, which is fantastic. And this case is only coming in at $59.99, and it's a great looking mini tower case if you want to take a look at it. So next up is the last part of the PC, the most important part of the PC in my opinion, and that is the GPU. Now for the GPU, I went with an RX 480, which is the new video card from AMD that's being launched this month. And we've been reassured by AMD that there's going to be tons and tons of these cards on release date, and so I'm putting it in as $200 for the 8GB version. But I would recommend going ahead and going for the 8GB model, just because it's only $30 more, and that can make a huge difference in games like Grand Theft Auto 5. I know uses a ton of VRAM, so it's definitely something to take a look at, getting that slightly higher VRAM model, just because, well, you can, right? It's $30 more for the VRAM, up to $50 more. The prices are going to be $230 to $250 for the 8GB model, and then it's going to be $200 for the 4GB model. So yeah, definitely great prices for the RX 480, and this is going to be amazing to see the video card that's only costing $200 that will be performing at what we can tell from the gameplay that's been leaked and just looked at and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be running games such as Witcher 3, Doom, all that stuff at 60 frames per second with mixed settings of ultra and high, and that's just amazing performance for a card that's only costing $200. So yeah, that's a great option for a video card. And honestly, if you're getting a build nowadays and you can't afford to get a GTX 1070, then it's definitely worth even a shot at looking at the performance of the 480. And we've been reassured by AMD that there's going to be tons and tons of these cards on release date, so make sure you don't buy from these crazy places where they're trying to sell the card for about $400, which is just that's just amazingly high for a card like this. So definitely make sure you get a card for the correct price, just because of the fact that people are marking the prices because they're like, oh no, they're not going to be here, but you can pre-order from these places and they're like $400. But in reality, AMD has assured us that there's going to be plenty of cards on launch and you don't need to pre-order, and yeah, so I'm really hyped to see that in the build. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Before we end the video, of course, I gotta go over the price of the build. So the final price of the build, the base total, is $730.94, which is, yeah, it's overpriced a little bit by $30, but by the time you watch this, it might actually be exactly $700. But then you can use mail rebates, which is $35, and you drop it down to $695.94, and that's using the 4GB version of the RX 480. But I do actually recommend you go $30 more and go ahead and get the RX 480 8GB edition. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.